Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show, Week 8 edition. Mr. Fryer, league play is dominating the Orange County football landscape. I want to start the show off by congratulating Troy on their historic win last week against La Habra in the Freeway League. Both of us picked the Highlanders to win. Troy shocked Orange County football. First victory against the Highlanders in 2000. Since 2006, and only the second in 23 years, snapped the Highlanders' 33 game winning streak. Steve, this is what league has brought to us. This is what the exciting part of the year is, all these league rivalries. How much entertaining is this for us football fans?
It's great. It's fantastic. And, Dan, to give ourselves a little credit on this, even though we picked La Habra to win, the reason we put Troy La Habra on our board because we thought it would be a competitive game.
Sure.
And we thought we're not going to put out, we're not going to put up a game that we think is going to be, well, once in a while you have to. But 90 whatever percent of the time we select games to talk about that we consider to be competitive and important games. And that certainly turned out to be the case. But yeah, good for Troy. They're probably still happier than heck over there. Good for those guys.
Watch out for that Freeway League race. I think the Warriors play Buena Park this week. Troy is 2-0 in league, and we'll see how it all shakes out in that exciting Freeway League. But I want to go to the Pacific Coast League. Steve also got a little bit game. I think it might be a little bit under the radar on Friday. So Pacific Coast League, Laguna Hills, owner of a 15-game winning streak. Fourth longest active streak in the state of California right now, longest in the southern section. So Hawks 7-0, going to Dana Hills, which is 5 in a row. Coach Henny's team has won 3 straight, Steve, and including a 14-7 win that I think also went under the radar last week against Irvine.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering this game, I think this game's going to be pretty tight. I think Dana Hill's starting to play some good football since they lost to Esperanza. Some of their scores are compared pretty well as far as common opponents, Laguna Hills, with Laguna Hills in terms of Irvine and Woodbridge. So who do you got in this one, Mr. Fryer?
Boy, Laguna Hills just looks really good. They've got a couple wins against good teams, teams that when I do my top 25 research before I vote on the top 25, Aliso, Niguel, and Santa Ana are always like in my teams to consider. And Laguna Hills has beaten them both. They have the better looking schedule, better looking wins and all that. Dana Hills is, playing pretty good defense right now. Didn't have a great offensive effort against Irvine, 14-7. Only completed 3 of 8 passes, rushed for 2.5 yards a carry. So, I like Laguna Hills in this game, Dan. Boy, that program is rolling. Not just team, but that program's rolling.
Yes, sir. I'm also picking the Hawks to win, though I think this could be the top game this season in the Pacific Coast League. I wonder if Dana Hills is going to end up being second. We'll see what another big one is. Portola and Irvine. Portola and Northwood also play on Friday in that 4-team league. So watch out see what Northwood, of course, the 2-time, section champion, see how they do in their opener against Portola. That could be another close game. All right, Steve, let's get into the South Coast League. They're offering a lot. This week, South Coast Trinity League are offering us a lot. How about this one, Steve? Capo Valley, another 7-0 team, undefeated team in Orange County. Only a handful of those left. They're at Tesoro, 4-3. Coach Matt Poston's team, they just played a team that was undefeated a couple weeks back in San Juan Hills. Stallions are 7-0. But how about the Tesoro Titans? They come back from that narrow, heartbreaking loss to San Juan, and then they beat Trabuco Hills in convincing fashion last week. That's the game that you saw and covered for the Register. But here they're taking on Capo coming in the South Coast League opener. Capo's playing really good defense. Jackson Severs and company on, at linebacker and who do you got in this one?
Jackson Severs is going to be in our discussion on all county, maybe even county defensive player of the year. There's certainly a lot of good candidates there. receivers are doing great work for the Cougars. And they got Tommy Acosta running at quarterback, runs the heck out of it. Good arm as well. He's gonna give Tesoro a lot of looks, and Tesoro has to be ready for it. Tesoro offensively, Travis Wood's a really good running back. Casual Burn, I think a little maybe underappreciated at quarterback. And we talked about the really good quarterbacks in OC. And Campbell Shamel, fine receiver for them too. Good group of receivers there. That defense, Tesoro is really good. Did a number at Tribuco Hills last week, and I expect Tesoro to get a W on this one.
Yeah, I'm also picking Tesoro. I think Capital's going to represent themselves well in this game.
Sure.
Their Cal Preps ranking is pretty impressive, as is Tesoro's. I like it, but I'm picking the Titans because I like their you got to respect their schedule that they went out and played. They played some pretty good teams. They played some tight games. I like the resolve they showed after the San Juan Hills game. But that's going to be a dandy. Here's a really tough one to call, Steve. Maybe the toughest game to call this week. I think it probably is. San Clemente 6-1, coming in 8th in the county. Maybe that's even too low. They have the higher Cal Preps ranking in this one against higher Orange County ranked Mission Viejo, sitting at 3. Diablos 5-2. San Clemente, they played some teams from San Diego, Riverside, went out to Ayala. They spread themselves out and played some pretty good teams. Of course, had the one loss by 1 point against Marietta Valley.
Yeah.
The Tritons strike me, Steve, as vastly improved this season. Got a couple, obviously the revelation of Aiden Rubin at running back. They got a fine offensive line, a couple really good tackles, and Huber and Baker.
Yep.
And they got a couple key transfers on defense that are in the middle of that defense that are playing pretty well, very well. And then you got Mission Viejo that's trying to they've kind of called it trying to reload a little bit on the fly. Played a tough schedule as well with Long Beach Poly taking a trip back east to take on St. John's. But who do you got in this one? I think it's a very difficult game to call. Mission Viejo at home. Who do you got?
I'm going with Mission Viejo. But San Clemente, like you say, number 8, man, they are kind of underrated, maybe. But when you have 4, 5 Trinity League teams in the state top 20 or something like that, it's going to be hard to crack into that group, unless your name is Mission Viejo. Viejo's got an excellent defense, right? Jaden Williams, the DN. We're going to be talking about him all county time as well. I think he's their leading tackler right now. In San Clemente, you mentioned Aiden Rubin. Boy, that guy's quick getting through the hole. And there are some gashes that he goes through that are pretty large when I saw him play a couple of weeks back. But I like Mission Viejo. And, there's something about the mental side of things, right? You're really good. Mission's your nemesis. You're really good. Mater Dei is your nemesis. And you're feeling pretty good. And then you see those helmets come out. You go, oh, man, And once it starts, maybe you get behind a little bit. It's the here we go again thing. That's the thing. Coach Jaime Ortiz, a great motivator, a great coach. He's got to work against with San Clemente is believing you can do it. Not getting freaked out when you see the M and the V on the helmets of the other guys. That's so much of this opportunity for San Clemente is doing the mental things right. Don't let a fumble, a turnover, a long drive by them knock you out of your mental game. That's going to be kind of tough. Michigan's got a ton of talent also, but they also may have that psychological edge. So I'm going with the Diablos, sir.
I've wavered on this game. For probably a couple of weeks.
Sure.
Because San Clemente has had success at their place in recent years against Mission Viejo. They got a couple W's
and a great student section.
What's that?
And a great student section.
Yeah, of course. It's
they're at 445 or something stupid. It's just great.
Yeah, and then Mission Viejo should have it's going to be a packed house. They're doing a special first responders night. Diablos, those uniforms that you allude to are going to look different. They're going to some special uniforms that the Diablos are doing for their first responders night. That does include a couple of parents from San Clemente, by the way. So hats off for both programs. Are going to be really part of it. But but I don't. I think if San Clemente's got to get. I think they can score early. If they can get a lead or start matching Mission Viejo score for score, that's going to be really helpful for the Tritons. I'm not sure about their comeback capability, but I also could see I could see San Clemente moving the ball, and I think it's going to be really close. But I'm gonna pick Mission Viejo. But I as you can probably tell, I don't know how securely I feel on that one. I won't be shocked if San Clemente wins.
Neither me.
So
yeah.
That's South Coast League. What a start. All the South Coast League teams have had a tremendous non-league season, as we've documented, and this is two outstanding openers. So hats off to the South Coast League as the last run of the South Coast League. It's all these leagues are going to be different next year. All right, let's move into a league that's going to stay the same next year, Mr. Fryer, the Trinity League. So there's a bunch a lot of games to pick up here, but I want to start with, I think this could be the closest one. How about Santa Margarita at JSerra? Both teams are 4-3 overall, firmly in the Orange County top 10. But Steve, you got Santa Margarita's got to start feeling a little bit desperate. They're 0-2 in league. They lost to Bosco. Okay, that's Bosco. But then they lost last week to Orange Lutheran. And here they are taking on their South County rival in JSerra. Both these teams split games last year. They played in the playoffs. That was JSerra that advanced, but Santa Margarita won the league game. I think Santa Margarita quarterback John Kazaniga, he got that Orange Lutheran game out of the way. Now he can maybe play some more freely and get off to a better start. And then you just kind of wonder about how can JSerra bounce back from the loss to Mater Dei. Maybe that rings up some questions about how's their offense going to do. They got the defense. How speaking of defense, how's Santa Margarita's defense going to play? That's been a little bit of a question for them. Who do you got in this game, Fryer, in the Trinity League Friday in San Juan Capistrano?
Yeah, I think you throw out any loss to Mater Dei and perhaps Bosco as well. You just, they're going to happen. Those are superb teams. Top two teams in the state, maybe the nation, right? So you got to wash that out of your hair. And then, but I'm picking JSerra in this game. I think Michael Tollefson, the quarterback's going to have a big day for them. Really good defense over there with Referente and Faraimo. Really good group over there on the defensive side for JSerra. And I think it's a defense that's going to lead them to the win, and some long drives by JSerra too are going to get this win for the Lions.
All right, we finally disagree. It seems like it's been weeks. I am picking Santa Margarita. We finally disagree. So I'm picking the Eagles. I feel like the desperation is going to carry them. I was very encouraged with. I was pretty impressed with Gonzaniga. The way he runs the ball.
Yeah.
Speaking of guys that can run the ball, I think they need to unlock and get Trent Mosley back in the end zone. I think this will be the perfect example perfect game for to get him back in the end zone. And I just kind of like the fight that they showed at the end of that game against Orange Lutheran, where they scored late in the third quarter, scored again in the fourth quarter. They had a couple unfortunate incidents, especially with this late punt that really cost them in that game. They played, I think, a talented Orange Lutheran team pretty good. Sure. All right, Steve. So it's for the main event. Let's see if we the best regular season game of the season in Orange County and maybe beyond. You got number 1 ranked Mater Dei going to St. John Bosco. Braves with 1 loss. They're ranked in the top 10 in various national rankings. And, you wonder about this one. We know about some of the stats, Steve. We know Elijah Brown, the quarterback for Mater Dei. He's 3-0 against in league play against St. John Bosco. We know about that defense by Mater Dei, which is allowing only like 6 points a game.
Yeah.
And then we know that common opponent situation, which is pretty striking this season with Mater Dei dominating Kahuku of Hawaii, and then Kahuku upsetting St. John Bosco. But I'm also wondering about maybe some of the intangibles. Could Mater Dei be feeling some pressure as number 1 team in the country? I think everyone is expecting them to roll. Maybe that puts some pressure on them. This is also Coach McManus's first time as head coach matching up head coach against Coach Negro, who, of course, McManus has been a veteran. He's been around this rivalry. He won't be surprised if the lights go out and the fireworks start in the pregame. But still, you wonder about, in Mater Dei's on the road. What's your thoughts on this game, Steve? Your prediction, and also how about a score prediction as well? I want to put you down to a score on this one.
Score prediction. All right. Let me see. Mater Dei will get the ball 6 times. They'll score 6 touchdowns. That's 42. And then we'll get 28 out of Bosco. So I think that's what we're looking at. Yeah, 42-28. Because Caleb Sanchez, the quarterback for Bosco, is really good too. And they got, but it's not easy to score on Bosco. They got great defensive guys all over the field. The usual big dudes up front, the usual speed in the backfield. Jason Negro, fantastic coach, as good as coach as you're ever going to find under a visor and in the game of high school football around here. You mentioned pressure on Mater Dei. I think it's not a pressure, it's a push. Okay. They need to be pushed a little bit to raise their level up, which has already been extremely wonderful. But I think it's not so much a pressure, it's more of a push. It's going to push Mater Dei to excel even more, to focus even more, attention to detail more, be great on every play even more, which they've really been already when I've seen them play. I see that just carrying over into this very busy. After they fall behind, Bosco's capable of getting ahead of them, especially at their home field. Is there any panic for Mater Dei? I don't think so. They seem like a very business-like group of guys. So I think, you asked me for a score, 42-28 Monarchs.
Okay. And speaking of, some of that, like you said, falling behind, Mater Dei did face some adversity of its own and responded quite well, especially defensively, right? When they were at St. Francis of Baltimore earlier this year, where their offense really struggled. The defense scored 2 touchdowns. And I think I'm also picking Mater Dei, but not as many points at all. I like and I respect the Mater Dei defense. I think Bosco's defense is playing pretty lights out as well right now. So I have something more in the range of about 26-14 Mater Dei in that range, maybe even 24-25, but I'm going 26-14 Monarchs, and this is going to be the push. And then are we going to see these guys in the Division I final once again?
Sure. Why not?
We will see. There's some good teams brewing out there between Sierra Canyon, undefeated Sierra Canyon. Is Bosco a little bit vulnerable? Hey, how's Mater Dei going to respond playing? It's playing this Bosco rivalry game, first time ever, really, without Coach Rawlinson there. Under the McManus era now. So we'll see how the Monarchs look. They've, like you said, they look business-like, but it is a awesome part of the season right now, Steve. I'm really enjoying the league and looking forward to Week 8 offerings.
Cool. Looking forward to it. I will see you at Panish Family Stadium on Friday at St. John Bosco for that game, Dan. We'll be elbow to elbow watching some of the finest football players in the nation all on one field. Be great.
And if you weren't one of the lucky ones to have a ticket, follow us on Twitter and look for that stream. Look for all our coverage this week, and because on OCVarsity we got you covered.